Hello, everyone, and welcome to another movie review. I am happy that you can join me today. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Click the subscribe button below for future notifications and updates. Click the like button and share this content with other movie fans. So I spent the month of February watching as many Oscar-nominated films as possible, and I was able to watch all 10 films that were nominated for Best Picture. Yesterday on Leap Day, February 29th, I saw the last of the 10 films, The Zone of Interest. But before I get into the review, my Oscar prediction special will be posted here on Wednesday, March 6th, and then the Oscar ceremony will be on TV Sunday, March 10th. Now, The Zone of Interest is a historical drama written and directed by Jonathan Glazer. It was nominated for 5 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Sound. It is in German with English subtitles, and the running time, thank goodness, was 1 hour and 45 minutes. If it was longer, I would not have been able to tolerate this film. It stars Christian Friedel and Sandra Hüller, who play Nazi commander Rudolf Höss and his wife Hedwig. It is a simple story of the couple living next door to the concentration camp at Auschwitz with their 5 children. They live an idyllic life with a big house and a beautiful garden, which are things Hedwig wanted for herself and her family. Höss and his wife do a really good job protecting their children from the harsh realities of what goes on at the camp, and what makes their job easy are the walls surrounding their property and the countryside outside the camp. What you don't see but do hear is the suffering of the victims inside the camp, the bombing, the shooting, the dogs barking, all the while the Höss family are living a cushy life with maids and a nanny. And what other critics don't mention that I could not forget is throughout the film, their youngest child, who is a baby, is constantly crying. But because they have a nanny, at night while Hedwig is comfortably asleep, the nanny is up with the baby. When I left the theater, I read what other critics had to say about this film, and the general consensus is this is a film about indifference and how people can go about their lives as normally as possible while ignoring the horrors of genocide and war. And I am really upset that the Academy took the fun out of watching movies this year, which they have a habit of doing from time to time. There were films in the Best Picture category that deserves to be on that list. However, there were a couple of films that to me were not worthy of Oscar nominations. And then there is The Zone of Interest, in which, because you are following a Nazi commander and his evil wife, there is no one to root for. My question is, why did the filmmakers spend so much money and a lot of time making a film about the bad guy? Not only is he a Nazi, and he talks about building a crematorium in such a nonchalant way, but he is also cheating on his wife. You don't see it, but there is a scene where he is on the phone, and while he is talking, a young girl walks in and takes off her shoes. Then it cuts to a scene where Höss goes into a room with a sink and he washes his penis. And because the wife is just as evil as he is, do I care that he's cheating? Hell no. Now, I am not going to score this film because since it got 5 Oscar nominations, my opinion at this point means nothing. But this is on my list of films I will only watch once and never again. And I find that a lot of movies that take place during the Holocaust is on that list. Schindler's List is on that list. I watched it once in theaters when I was in high school. I never watched it again. And the same goes for this movie. I will never watch this movie again. Once is enough for me. Another question that I have is, if the Academy can nominate this film in 5 categories, why did they totally ignore another film that I think is better than this one, which is Where Hands Touch? Now, Where Hands Touch tells the story of a black German teenage girl who falls in love with a young Nazi soldier. Amandla Stenberg and George McKay play the protagonists and the two lovebirds. And what makes this movie stand out is it doesn't focus on a Jewish victim, which is important because out of the 18 million people that were murdered in the Holocaust, 12 million were Jews, but the other 6 million were not. Another thing is, two people found love in a hopeless place, in an environment that's literally hell on earth. And in my opinion, we should be recognizing films like Where Hands Touch, in which the focus is on love, not a focus on a Nazi that don't give a shit. So, this movie made me realize that, Where Hands Touch got ignored by the Academy. It got snubbed for quite a few categories. And, this movie was made back in 2018. So I'm sure that you can find it on streaming. I highly recommend that if you have not watched it, please watch it and you'll see what I mean. But, yeah, like this movie right here, I'm just at a loss for words that they made a movie centering around a Nazi, his wife, and their family. And it's like, I just don't understand why you would waste your time and money to make a movie about a Nazi. Um, it just blows my mind. And the Academy supports this film. And I'm thinking to myself, of all the films that were released last year, all the foreign films that were released last year, you mean to tell me that you guys could not find something else to nominate? No, no. I refuse to believe that. So that's all for today, my friends. I will see you next time with another movie review. Until then, take care.